So now that it's officially recording, welcome to the round 2022-2023 Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program Applicant Workshop. Today, I'll be presenting the workshop, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm Allison Ball. I'm a planner with the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, and I'm also the District 1 liaison to the Ohio Public Works Commission. And with us today and filling in on any questions that we might have is the Ohio Public Works Commission Program Representative. Nick, you can introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm Nick. I'm the OPWC program rep for District 1, and I'll be here for any questions and additional comments.
All right, great. Again, before we get started, we are recording this and it is actively recording. We will post the recording on our website. We will also post the slide deck on the website for your information. And Nick and our contact information, it is at the end. If you have any questions or need follow-up, we're happy to help. In the meantime, feel free to use the chat or the Q&A buttons as we're going along if you have questions. And if I see them, we will certainly get to them in a timely manner. So I'm going to share the screen now. And again, welcome to the Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program, round 2022/2023. Just a note on the program year. We've gone from program year to fiscal year to round, and the round used to reference the number of rounds of funding. From now on, the round will refer to the year that the applications are submitted and the year that the funding is awarded. So this is the 17th year for this program applications, but it's round 2022-2023. So today we'll go over the purpose of the Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program, what's new in round 2022-2023. There's a lot to report on. We'll talk a little bit about program implementation, the different types of projects, and just a summary of the District 1 results. Then we'll get into the District 1 Green Space Conservation Program and the Natural Resources Assistance Council. We'll look at the OPWC requirements, program funding, the application process, the evaluation methodology, and the round 2022-2023 schedule. And I will fix that bullet point before we post this, and then we'll have time for questions and answers at the end. So first of all, the Clean Ohio Fund started in 2000, and it was a bond initiative that was voted in to restore and protect and connect Ohio's important natural and urban places by preserving green space conservation, farmland, recreational trails. And back in 2000, there was even a brownfield component, which is no longer active. But since 2000, the statewide, more than 175,000 acres of natural areas have been preserved. Over 80,000 acres of family farms have been protected, and nearly 500 miles of multi-use recreational trails have been created. The Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program is the program specific to what we're talking about today, is for open space, sensitive ecological areas, and stream corridors. And this program is run through the Ohio Public Works Commission. So the purpose is obviously to preserve open space, protect riparian corridors, protect rare, threatened, or endangered species, support open space planning, preserve wetlands, preserve streamside forests, natural stream channels, and floodplains. So very conservation oriented. And again, there's a trails program for the more active recreation. So this isn't just new in 2022, 2023. This is new going forward. There's been several changes to the Ohio Revised Code that actually impact the administration of the Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program. So the first thing is that that provides that nonprofits that are eligible to apply must be environmental and conservation organizations to ensure nonprofits that primarily serve to protect environment and conservation interests are the ones running the program. And so even though historically there have been some CDCs and other such organizations that have been given subdivision codes, they will no longer be eligible to apply for Clean Ohio funds. So if you're on this webinar and you are questioning your status, please reach out to Nick Rose and myself after the program. Our contact information is at the end, and we can help you figure that out. And if your subdivision code is no longer active, that doesn't mean that your project is not good for a Clean Ohio project. We'll just have to connect you with the partners that will ensure that the management of the property is done by an environmental and conservation organization that is working with OPWC. So the second one is just really nomenclature, replaces development with improvement for the open space improvement projects that are sort of a phase 2 for projects that have already been awarded funding. The word development inspires developers. So now we're just looking at open space improvements to clarify the meaning. And then this is really big for this program. The section 164.22A and 0.22B deletes language that prohibits modification, hydromodification. So that was the only case in the whole Ohio Revised Code that term hydromodification was used. And the intent was really unclear. It created confusion and prevented valuable water quality improvement projects. So the point is Clean Ohio is all about preservation, conservation, and you saw all the emphasis on clean water, riparian corridors, stream channels, the overflow floodplains. So Clean Ohio projects should not result in water quality degradation by the very nature of conservation, and project scopes are reviewed and vetted by the NRACs. So if you have a question about what you want to do that you were previously felt that you couldn't do, again, reach out to Nick Rose and myself. And again, it might just be one of those things that gets funneled through to the NRAC as a committee to decide. And what's even more important, in the last Ohio Revised Code section that was changed, 164.26C, specifies that technical assistance provided by the director is allowed and will not constitute a decision on whether it's an approval or denial of an application. So Director Bailiff can now weigh in on any questions that you may have about eligibility or some such questions. So that's really great, and it will make managing this program a lot easier. Finally, what's new in round 2022-23 and going forward is acknowledgement. OPWC now requires the use of the Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program logo on any permanent signage erected for projects selected for funding. And I've been to some of the Clean Ohio projects, and not just in District 1, and I've seen like the old Clean Ohio logo, but this new Clean Ohio logo is a lot nicer, and it shows the leaf and the water, showing the emphasis on the natural areas and the water. So forthcoming project agreements will also strongly encourage recipients to acknowledge program funding and OPWC's financial support in their various materials, outlets, and events. So lots for you to consider when you're putting your applications together. And if you are awarded funding, to just remember to acknowledge OPWC. So Clean Ohio Conservation Program implementation in District 1. District 1 is Cuyahoga County. So there's 19, the state's divided into 19 districts, and that was originally done for the infrastructure program for local control over the implementation of these programs, and these districts were adopted for the Natural Resources Assistance Councils. And again, Cuyahoga County is District 1. Oops. So, and this program is so important to District 1, to Cuyahoga County. Cuyahoga County is one of the largest, most urbanized counties in the state. And here we have a land use map that was put together in 2018. And you can see that 15% of the district or the county is parks and open space. Now, the way this map was put together was using the codes from the fiscal office, tax codes. So this open space and parks also includes cemeteries and golf courses. So it's not necessarily all natural areas. The natural areas in Cuyahoga County, and you can still see this in the map, they're fragmented and sometimes few and far between. So this program is just really significant in helping create the connections to all these green spaces and growing the green space in Cuyahoga County. So the actual program implementation. So Ohio Public Works Commission oversees both the infrastructure and the Clean Ohio Conservation Program. They are the bank, they have the money, they approve the methodologies, and they also provide the final approval of recommended projects. So again, the infrastructure program started first and the districts were developed, and each district has a Public Works Integrating Committee, and each Public Works Integrating Committee appoints Natural Resources Assistance Council members. And then the Natural Resources Assistance Council, the NRECs, they implement the Clean Ohio Conservation Program. They develop project selection and evaluation methodology, and they select projects for funding and make recommendations that go back to OPWC, which again, they give the final approval. So each NREC is an 11-member council. The members serve 3-year terms. The terms are up in October this year, and the DOPIC will be appointing 3 new members in September at their September meeting. Actually 4 because we had a vacancy. But you can see the NREC is made up of a variety of members from the environmental sector, the government sector, park sector, and a representative from the District 1 Public Works Integrating Committee, an agricultural member, and a business realtor or planning member. So the types of projects include acquisition of open space, acquisition of land or rights in land, such as conservation easements. So acquisition of open space that isn't an easement would be like a fee simple. Construction or enhancement of facilities on the acquired property, acquisition or enhancement of land to connect natural area corridors. So here's an example of a recent open space project. This is the expansion of Euclid Creek Reservation through Cleveland Metro Parks. Again, there's wetlands, there's hillsides and corridors. The riparian projects are fee simple acquisition of lands to provide access to riparian corridors or watersheds, acquisition of easements for the purpose of protecting and enhancing the riparian corridors, and reforestation of land or the planting of vegetation for filtration process purposes. And then the West Creek Confluence project, this has been a couple of years now, but just such a significant impact. There was a building on the site. You can see where the channel just flooded all the time. And here is the end result of the restoration with the terraced floodplains. So, and also bringing back a meander into the straightened channel. So, and then that open space improvement, not development, but improvement, construction, or enhancements of facilities on properties previously acquired through the Clean Ohio Green Space Conservation Program. And here we have, at the time it was called the Lower Big Creek Trail Connector Project. I reached out to Western Reserve Land Conservancy last year for their updated pictures. It is now known as Brighton Park. So the project was first acquired, I'd say 2 to 3 years before they actually came back and did the improvements in a phase 2, if you will. So the Clean Ohio Conservation Program in District 1, again, when you look at this map, it might not look as significant as it is, but that's 96 projects funded out of 139 submitted. It's almost 2/3, over $54 million awarded. There was a misprint in the recent article. It's almost 2,400 acres of natural areas and green space that have been preserved in over 58,000 linear feet of riparian corridors. So we're really happy to see all this natural areas and stream corridors being preserved in District 1. So we'll move on to the District 1 Green Space Conservation Program specific to Cuyahoga County and the application process. I do want to make sure that we don't have any questions or comments so far, but it does not look like it. So, all right. So last year we started using the new OPWC WorksWise portal to upload applications, manage project, and submit disbursement requests. And this is the only way that we'll be accepting, or OPWC will be accepting the applications going forth. There was an old fillable PDF, but now it's all online through this system. For those of you that are on the webinar and don't have a login to WorksWise on the OPWC website, there is a link to request a login, and you'll need that. I will go to the website in a bit. There's training for the application. They have some YouTube channels on the OPWC website, and even disbursement training video, because everything is done on WorksWise. Anything to add about that, Nick? We good?
So you can also just reach out to me via email to get that WorksWise login set up, and I definitely encourage getting that done ahead of time, just so that's just less of an extra step when you go to apply. And we will be having more WorksWise training videos coming out to get people, make it easier for everybody.
Oh, great. That's good to know. So the District 1 NRAC policy last year adopted a recusal requirement. There's a lot of applicants that may have members on the board or the council. So I just want to remind everybody that in accordance with Ohio's ethics laws, District 1 NRAC members will recuse themselves from discussion, participation in the project site visits, interviews, and scoring specific project applications submitted by or on behalf of their organization, or any applications prepared and submitted by their organization for Clean Ohio funds. And it is recommended to have someone else from the organization be present and address any questions by the NRAC members. OPWC requirements for appraisals, this is pretty strict as well. Appraisals must be conducted by an ODOT pre-qualified appraiser if the project includes a conservation easement. In addition to this list, the Appraisal Institute designated members who have successfully passed the Valuation of Conservation Easements Professional Development Program are now also approved for use. And later on, I have a link to where you can find that, those lists on the OPWC website. And and then OPWC may approve projects where the purchase price exceeds the appraised value. If validated and approved by the NRAC, their change places a maximum such that the price cannot exceed 5% above the appraised value. So, and if you want to check out the appraisal standards here, and I'll show this to you later on in the webinar because you cannot emphasize this enough. Not only do you need the appraisal standards or your appraiser approved, you need them to sign off that they've read OPWC's appraisal standards. So project implementation. Project acquisition must be completed a year from the date of the project agreement. And the project agreements this year will probably go out in February or March. And I think they'll always be going out in March going forward, but that's an important announcement I'm going to share with you all at the end. But I guess we get them in District 1, usually gets them in February. So when you're putting your project schedule together, just plan on getting that in March. Does that sound good, Nick? Okay, got a thumbs up there. So post-acquisition activities must be concluded within 2 years from the date of the acquisition, unless a formal extension has been approved by OPWC. So the funding we have available in round 2022-23, we have $3.2 million. We have a little bit of carryover, 130,000. I wish we had $130 million. Sorry about that. Just 133,733. So the total available is about $3.3 million. And again, that's approximate. For projects that are closing out this year, we might get some returns. However, I will warn you that District 1 applicants or awardees are very good at using their funding. And 1 year, our carryover balance was 68 cents. So there is a local match requirement. 25% of your project needs to be local match, and the maximum award is 75% of the total project cost. What can be used as eligible match? Well, contribution of money from individuals, local, state, or federal government, contributions in kind through the purchase or donation of equipment, land, easements, labor, and materials, appraised value of the property, so bargain sale, provide certification. Oh, and applicants must provide a certification that all local revenues for the project will be available on or before the earliest date listed in the project schedule. And there is actually a template on the OPWC website. And I think I'll add that link to our own website on county planning. So eligible applicants are the local subdivisions, counties, cities, villages, and townships. Special districts such as Park District or Park Authority or Soil and Water Conservation Districts. And as we said before, the nonprofit corporations that have a conservation activity as a primary part of its mission and exempt from federal income tax dollars. So eligible applicants must have an approved subdivision code in order to apply. And here is, this is in the OPWC advisories page. So again, if you wanna double check on your subdivision code, if you have one, if it's still valid, contact Nick Rose and myself. So eligible activities and ineligible activities. So acquisition expenses, planning and implementation, site enhancement or restoration, acquisition of land for active recreation, flood control projects, projects where stormwater management is the primary. Again, that's a little fuzzy there from the change. and definitely administrative costs. For the most up-to-date list, oh, I pulled it up twice. So Nick, can you tell me, do we see the Clean Ohio webpage now, or are we still on the PowerPoint?
We are on the webpage.
Okay, so I don't know why it should go to advisories. No, not advisories. What? Clean Ohio. Where is it? Eligible. Here it is. Eligible and ineligible costs. So we do have on our webpage as well, under the current program year, I'll show you links to the OPWC, but here's where, because this list can change. It's kept in real time. So if anything changes, they'll change it on OPWC website first. So definitely come and take a look at this. There are eligible improvements that can be made, but not with Clean Ohio funds. And any of these improvements must be specified in the deed restrictions. I'm going to get into more detail about that later. And then always ineligible. Manicured flower beds, sports field, water degradation, solar fields, administrative and monitoring costs, et cetera, et cetera. So again, it's the OPWC website, even though you're going to be on the WorksWise, definitely still use the OPWC website. So
yeah. Our website has pretty much all of the information on it. And with these ineligible
do you want me to go back?
Yeah, you're fine. But just with the ineligible cost or the eligible and ineligible costs, we allow these, but generally a lot of the improvements should be low impact and kind of, so you don't have sort of a small property, but then you pack everything on there, since the focus of the program is supposed to be conservation focused. So just want to clarify that.
Great, thanks, Nick. Look at that. The list of items on the OPWC website has been revised to reflect current practice. NRACs with any needed guidance from OPWC in consideration of environmental impacts will make decisions on a case-by-case basis on allowance of some of the following items: disc golf, equestrian use, and mountain biking. Again, we don't see a lot of these uses, equestrian use and mountain biking here in District 1. Remember that these are statewide. So if you're in an organization that works with multiple districts, if District 8 or District 7 allows something, it's up to the specific NRAC. So just keep that in mind. These are NRAC specific. So no new oil and gas leases are permitted once the NRAC has approved the application. Any modification or breach of the recorded deed restrictions or conservation easement that occur once a project agreement has been signed and without the advance written approval of the director are subject to the imposition of liquidated damages. Wetland restoration is permitted. And at this time, Nick can confirm no improvements to easements are permitted except for one-time invasive species removal. And I do see him nodding.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, especially if you're looking at the open space improvements. Like, look back and see, how was your land awarded to you, or how was it purchased? Or so keep that in mind. So the District 1 NRAC application pages are buried under grant programs, under services on the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission webpage. They're under the current year program. So the District 1 NRAC application relates directly to OPWC policies and the NRAC evaluation methodology. It is used along with the OPWC WorksWise application to review projects. The applicant is responsible for making sure all documents are complete, accurate, and submitted, also uploaded by Friday, October 14th, 2022 by 4:30 p.m. One thing I love about the WorksWise program is that at 4:30 p.m., they will stop accepting applications. So this is critical. Don't wait until 3 p.m. to try and upload everything on October 14th. Definitely give yourself time. And don't forget that you also require a electronic copy of everything for the district liaison and for the NRAC members. So we'll need the files shared, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. And then once they're submitted, they are screened for eligibility prior to evaluation. And again, incomplete or late applications will not be evaluated by the NRAC. So here it is, submit one copy in OPWC WorksWise program. And again, in the WorksWise program, you'll be uploading documents in the digital copy submitted as a PDF via electronic file sharing service, and whichever one you use, whether it's Dropbox or OneDrive or Google Drive, however you share it, just make sure I get it and that you receive confirmation of receipt from me. And then the application supplements must be submitted on the form provided. And we're going to go over that form in a little bit. Materials must be typed using an 11-point font and submitted according to the District 1 NRAC protocol. So the NRAC members look at this. They evaluate, the 11 members evaluate these individually. So we break them up into their different parts: the OPWC application, the supplement, and the attachments separated by a cover page or just separated with authorization and resolutions of support, agreements and letters of support, maps and photos, natural resource information, and then the property information, either by the parcel number, or if it's one purchase but 2 or 3 parcels, you know, we can do it by the purchase. It doesn't necessarily have to be by parcel number, but you'll need the letters of intent or memorandum of understanding, or however you and the seller are communicating, whether it's the intent or the purchase agreement or the copies of the easements. The deeds and the proposed deed restrictions, again, I can't emphasize that enough. The appraisals, the appraisal standards review, and the county fiscal office valuation are should all be included. Here's the appraisal standards. There's the link to it. Again, you don't have to read the small print here, but your appraiser does and needs to sign off on it. And here again, the property information. I have this section highlighted. It's use and development restrictions. And in the past, in District 1, we've been kind of lax about reviewing this section, and that's the big change, one of the big changes for this year, or the big change. So now, resolutions of support. Each applicant is required by the Ohio Revised Code section 164.23 to have some kind of resolution of support from the appropriate political subdivision. Basically, if you are a municipality and the project is wholly within the borders of your municipality and you have the resolution of support from your municipality, you don't need to go to Cuyahoga County Council. However, if you are working on a project that goes across the border, for instance, one year we had a project that included both the city of Euclid and the city of Cleveland, and they did have to go to Cuyahoga County. So if it's multi-jurisdictional, you'll have to go to Cuyahoga County Council for a resolution of support. Then if you're a nonprofit, you have to go through Cuyahoga County Council resolution of support. If you are a park district, like the Metro Parks, you don't need the resolution of support, but you do need a letter of support from the municipality or wherever the project location is. So if it's cross-border, you'll need 2 letters of support if it's wholly within a municipality. And you know what? I will update this slide because September 3rd, 2021 will not get you your required county council resolution of support. It's actually in August this year, late August. So to account for getting it into our system before the Labor Day holiday. I will give you that date before we end because that's an important deadline. So the District 1 NRAC evaluation. The evaluation process is divided into 3 major components. The project eligibility, so that's reviewing all the submitted materials, making sure that they are complete, that the budgets are all eligible for eligible funding. And then after the eligibility is checked, the preliminary project scoring, the materials get forwarded to the 11 NRAC members for scoring, site visits, applicant interviews, and public meetings. And then phase 3 is the final project scoring and recommendations to OPWC and submitting that work into WorksWise. So here is the OPWC application site, and this is what, when you start a new Clean Ohio application, you can, you need to fill out your form. We should go right there. And here we are in the Ohio Public WorksWise. So again, you need that login information if you don't have it. And then I keep here, maybe if I move it down here. So you go to applications and projects, and you can start a new Clean Ohio application. So, so I would put in my name, Allison Ball, District 1, test project, and project type. Let's do riparian corridor today, Cuyahoga County. I don't have a prior project number, and I'm in 44115, confirm. So, and that will take you to the not submitted. You can work on this, you can save it, you don't have to submit it all at once. You get assigned an application project ID number. It'll be different than the one that we sign for the NRAC. And then you can either edit by using the pencil, or you can go up to edit project information or edit project financials, and that'll open up the whole section there too. And so there's a couple ways to do this. I don't know if this will impact District 1, but if you had previously filled out an application and didn't get funded, there's a way that you don't have to fill all that in. You can just edit it to reflect the new program year. Is that correct, Nick?
Yeah.
Yes. So, and I guess that will be on the new training video. So, but again, make sure you have your login if you're interested, and you don't have one, please contact Nick right away. So I'm gonna head back to this. Does anyone have any questions or chats yet? No. Excellent. And then moving right along. So the important points as you go through is the project financial resources, the project schedule, the project description, the project officials, and the required attachments. So this kind of mimics, we used to go page by page. I believe the project description is character limited, and will also be used in your project agreements. So, Nick, is that the case still?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, you don't have a lot of space here, but you will have space in the application supplement. And again, here's, there it is, project description. I didn't show you when I was on the website, but these little circles that say I, you can click on that and that will give you information about the field and how to fill it in as well. So the supplement, it has a checklist for eligibility and the 6 major sections that are evaluated. So this is from last year's. We have one for this year. And then I skipped project emphasis. That's just a section of the supplement that goes in line with the the ORC requirements of the program and is a checklist. So section 2 is the project description. And if you're following along in the supplement, that would be on page 5. So in the project description, this is where we ask you for the summary of the appraisal report, the certified appraisal report, in the documentation. So again, here's more places with the links. And again, this slide deck will be posted on our website, so you don't have to look for all these links on your own. And then don't forget the Cuyahoga County Fiscal Officer's property valuation for the project site. And you know what, before I post this, I will add the link. Let me write a note to myself, add the link to Fiscal Office. There you go. And then thank you, Bob. So, and then in the project description, this is where you get a chance to give a detailed project description, not to exceed 2 pages, but certainly more than the 500 or so characters that you have in the WorksWise section. So, and in those 2 pages, to find the project's context in the Cuyahoga County green print and provide a map. And again, the map doesn't go in the body of the form, but is an attachment. Explain the current conditions and any site improvements that will be made as part of the project. Include an itemized estimate of probable cost for all improvements utilizing the Clean Ohio funds. Note the existing structures on the property, the appraised value of the structure, proportion of value to the overall value, and the intended actions. In District 1, there are projects that have purchased buildings that have been on the land. In some cases, they have been raised, maybe not using the Clean Ohio funds, but they have been. In other instances, that they have been incorporated to be used as meeting spaces or educational venues. So again, noting what the ended extended use is for the properties on the structures on the property is important. So we ask for you to put it in the context of the Cuyahoga County green print. The green print is an interactive mapper that lets you turn features on and off that might help show the importance of your project. Is it part of a wetland or a high priority conservation area? There's training videos on our website and a green print guidebook. So, and again, I can also take folks to that after the body of this, if people want a sneak peek at that after the PowerPoint. So the county principles, the NRAC evaluates these based on the 5 guiding principles, which is to preserve natural areas and open space, restore landscapes that have been degraded or destroyed, enhance the quality of natural areas or open space to promote passive recreation and educational opportunities, link natural areas to each other or to county, cultural, and civic heritage areas, and allow public access to and within the natural areas and or county cultural and civic heritage areas. So meaning, you know, is it going to be open from dawn to dusk? Will people be able to enter easily? Will there be access, easy access, or is it by appointment? That kind of question is what we're looking at, what they're looking at. Restoration must comprise a portion of the project scope, budget, or local match and include supporting documentation in the natural resources attachment. Are you reducing or eliminating non-native or invasive species? Are you restoring or improving old ecosystems? Reforest or restores vegetation or eliminates impervious surfaces, or restoring steep hillsides. So again, the NREC is a little bit of a stickler for this. They used to give restoration points because it was a checkbox, but now they want to know what the restoration is being done, and how you intend to, what is the ecosystem you're restoring. Project benefits. This is a paragraph. Don't be fooled by the checkboxes on the next few slides. It is a 2,000 character limit. And we're looking, the NREC is looking for benefits that are anticipated as a result of this project: economic, social, and environmental. And again, provide supporting documentation in the natural resources attachment as necessary to support all the stated benefits. So here are some examples of the economic benefits, you know, catalyzing other improvements, increasing the value of adjacent or nearby land, reducing annual municipal service costs, develops or redevelops vacant or underutilized parcels or acres, and other economic benefits. So again, just, it looks like a checklist. This is just to give you ideas of what the NREC is looking for. Social benefits. Providing public access, creating a gathering place, provides linkages, removes blight, improves public health and safety, enhances the cultural and civic heritage of the area, incorporates aesthetically pleasing and ecologically informed design, and any other social benefits you think this is providing. And finally, and of utmost importance, the environmental benefits. This is an environmental conservation program. So how's it balancing the built environment with the natural environment? Enhancing environmental health, converting degraded parcels, creating habitat, improving biodiversity, protecting rare, threatened, or endangered species. And again, this is all in the applicant manual. This slide, as well as this program, will be up on our website, so you can come back and visit this anytime. So community impact, again, for those of you that have applied in the past and took a couple of years off, this is a little bit different. And we started this last year. Cuyahoga County needs an integrated system of key natural areas that will provide benefits to all of its residents, particularly those residents that reside in areas that lack green space and or the ability to enjoy the benefit. So the scoring of community impact will be awarded in the following categories: access to natural areas, percent low income, percent minority population, and access to public transit and bikeways. And this is all based on data from the 2020 census tract boundaries. So the data for awarding points includes the following sources. So the access to natural areas, we're looking at the impervious surface from the 2019 Urban Tree Canopy Assessment Update. For the low income and percent minority population, we're looking at the US Census Bureau 2015 to 2019 American Community Survey 5-year estimates. And for access to public transit and bikeways, RTA stops are that data is from the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority from 2021, and the bike routes are from the NOACA Regional Bike Network existing routes 2020. Now, don't worry about the data. We've collected it all. All you have to give is the parcel number and the census tract. There is a interactive map, and if you know your census tract, you'll bring it right here, and it'll give you the percent of the impervious surface and the percent of the population below 150% of the poverty level, and percent minority. And then, so all you have to do is fill that in with the associated parcel numbers. If you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, more than 5 parcel numbers, then create your own table and add that into the supplement. And note, if the project is in more than one census tract, the score will be calculated as an average of the census tracts. The other thing to note is census tracts that have 0 population will be scored based on the average of the census tracts in a half-mile buffer around that project location, because even though there's nobody living there, and we have a couple areas near the airport and near the industrial section of the river, there are dense neighborhoods nearby. So that's why for census tracts that have 0 population, we will accommodate for those. And again, we have the points set up in the application manual so that you can see that. Again, looking at the maps, if you're just looking at the colors and you know roughly where your project location is, the lighter the yellow, the lesser the points, and the darker the color, the more points. So, but I am going to go back and visit the interactive map. All right, so there is a search function, so you can find address or place. 2079 East 9th Street, Cleveland. Turn my office into green space and then click on that, and that's where you get your data from. Okay. So, whoops, I don't want to stop sharing. I just want to go back to the PowerPoint. So, are there any questions regarding the community impact? I don't see any. Just keep going then. All right, other relevant factors, page 16 in the application supplement form. So we're looking at local match, the level of coordination, the readiness to proceed, immediacy, and mineral rights. Readiness to proceed has a change for this year, but everything else is very similar. Local match, points will be awarded based on the total match provided. So if you meet the minimum amount of match, you get 3 points. If anything over that, you get more. So provide a breakdown of the local match, e.g. federal and state and grants, and specify all sources and include the certification of funds. And again, we do have a template for that on the OPWC website. And if you need to find that, I think we will make sure you know where that is. Level of coordination. Applicants should explain if the project is part of an adopted regional, county, community, or watershed plan. Provide project plan documentation in the natural resources attachment. And then the agencies and organizations that have been involved in the planning and the preparation of this project application, certainly add them. And again, don't just list them, get letters of support from them. That really shows the NRAC. There was one year there was just a list of like 11 different organizations, and not one submitted a letter of support. And that the NRAC was like, why is that? Did they really do that? So make sure you get that letter of support and the level of coordination that each agency or organization provides. So readiness to proceed, that's still a 10-point category. However, this year it's split into two sections. There's Readiness to Proceed A, which is based on the acquisition of the property, whereas before, a fully executed contract with the owner will receive 5 points instead of 10, because that's the max you can get in Readiness to Proceed A. If you have a contract or a purchase agreement that does not have all the signatures, or a letter or a letter or memorandum of understanding, those will receive 3 points. Applications with confidentiality agreements in lieu of purchase agreements will not be evaluated. If you don't have any proof of communication with the landowner, you're not going to be getting points in the acquisition section, and projects not scheduled for acquisition within 12 months from the date of the project agreement will be rejected. This program is so competitive. We're looking at projects that are ready to go. So that brings us to Readiness to Proceed Part B. I'll add the Part B before I post this. This is about the project use and development. Projects will be awarded up to 5 points based on the readiness to implement the improvements to the project area. What is the end use for the project site? Copy the use and development restriction language from the proposed deed and put that into the supplement. There is an emphasis this year that OPWC wants the NRECs to know not just where they're buying the land and how soon the land is being purchased, but what the end use is going to be. So, and so we're asking to have that proposed deed language and briefly explain the implementation process for the project use in the proposed deed. So how close are you getting to this actual end use? Do you have a project schedule? Is there estimates of probable costs, or are you still going through public meetings? So let us know where you are in the process for that. And documentation of appropriate permits or permitting process is another way to show how far along you are in making this end use happen. So immediacy. This criteria is about why the property needs to be purchased in this round, not how fast you can bring the end use together, right? We just saw that in Readiness to Proceed Part B. So is this area like under threat of being developed as something other than an open space or green space? And how would this development be detrimental to the community, or how would not having the green space there be detrimental? So again, what is the urgency for purchasing the project this round? I know that we certainly do not have enough money to buy all the land we want to every round. So definitely show that this is your year, and that is what the immediacy is about. Mineral rights. The current landowner will retain the mineral rights. The mineral rights will be purchased and transferred to another entity, or the applicant obtain legal agreements with lessee to minimize the impacts of the mineral rights lease, and or can show how current and oil gas wells will not impact the sensitive natural resource or the open area. If the mineral rights will be purchased and maintained, that will be a bonus of 5 points. Here's the breakdown of the points. This is the same as last year, even though there are some slight nuances that are different. There's weight factors, again, higher weight factors on things that have a heavier emphasis for OPWC and the NREC, the District 1 NREC. So it's 50 points. Everything's given 10 points, but with the weight factors, you can get up to 120 points. The benefits, economic has a weight factor of 1, social a weight factor of 2, and environmental a weight factor of 3, for a total of weighted points of 60 points. And then the community impact. The access to natural areas, the percent to low income, and the percent minority population all have a weight factor of 2, and access to transit and bikeways is a weight factor of 1, a total of 70 points. And then the other relevant factors, they're all still 10. Readiness to proceed, those 5 points will be added together for the full readiness to proceed. And the total of this section is 45 because they all have the 1, oops, what did I do? The weight factor of 1. The total points, weighted points you can get is 295. Projects must receive a score of at least 60% or 177 weighted points of the total points available to even be eligible for funding. If you score under 177 and it's not a competitive year, you still will not be recommended for funding. OPWC will not release those awards because of this policy. The schedule here is, the due date is Friday, October 14th. The preliminary screening is October 17th to the 24th. We will start conducting the site visits and hopefully get them all done on Wednesday, October 26th. The NRAC will evaluate the applications individually October 24th through the 16th, and the application interviews are on Friday, December 9th. So I would put that date in your calendars now and save that. The NRAC will meet to review the preliminary scores on January 11th. And then if needed, they can take a break and revise and review and revise scores, or they can improve them if they need another month. The final project ranking will be on Wednesday, February 8th. And submit to recommendations, that might even be by March. I use the old date. And the reason why I say this, well, first of all, just note all dates are subject to change, but I wanna have an important announcement here. OPWC announced a change to the Future Clean Ohio round submittal deadline and their whole schedule. So beginning with round 2023, 2024, the guidance and allocations will be provided in March. So basically, once we finish, we're rolling right into the next one. So you don't have to wait until next July for this applicant workshop. It'll be sometime in March. So that's important. The project slates will be due by November. So again, when it starts in March, evaluation will be over the summer, which is great for site visits, unless it's a thunderstorm. And then project agreements will be awarded in the following March of 2024. So here's our contact information. And we have time for question and answers. No open questions. And no chat. Oh, it's like crickets in a field, a green space field. Okay, it's 2:30. What I would like to do before we leave, though, is share the screen one more time. Share. And I'm going to end the show. I showed you where this is. Let me move. See. So again, this is the Clean Ohio Public Works page, where you can find the program information, financial information, the advisories, the project administration, like what happens if I get it, resources, and here's all the WorksWise, where they training and material videos are over here, and latest news and announcements. And then county planning grant programs. So under services, grant programs, Clean Ohio is the second one down. And you go to the current program year, and this is where you can find the applicant manual, the policy manual, the application supplement. So again, it's a fillable PDF. You should only be working on this document. If you already downloaded this PDF version, I will let you know I was testing it out after it got uploaded and noticed some glitches. So I did load this, a better version. Here is that emphasis. It's just a check mark. And then the project description, project name, acquisition of land, the county fiscal officer's property valuation, the seller of the property, the purchaser of the property. We used to ask for all the financials of how much it was going to be sold, but that is now in the WorksWise, built into WorksWise. So we will use that to look at the actual financials. And here is the brief project description for the previous rounds if you're doing an improvement project. So here's the link to the green print, and I'll show you that after this. Again, your 2 pages. If you're finding that you need more than 2 pages to describe your project, figure out how to shorten things, use bullet point lists, although that might make it longer. Be very concise. Remember, you have other opportunities to mention the benefits in the benefit section, so you don't have to put that in the project description section.
Yeah, so we use the project description section to craft the agreement. So anything that goes in there should be something that would be in the agreement, not like, so preferably no fluff, essentially.
Right. No, I'm on the supplement now, so we give them more because we want the fluff. The NRAC needs a little bit more than what's going to be in a project agreement. So, yeah. And then again, just going through all of this, there's the benefits. Again, here's the parcel number, census tract for the community impact, and the link to that interactive map. So you don't have to like find all that data all on your own. We have it supplied there for you. And then the other relevant factors, level of coordination, use and development. What is the end use for the project site? Copy the language from the proposed deed and explain the use and development restrictions in the project below. So, and provide at least 1 or more of the following documents so the NRAC can evaluate how far you are ahead. Yes, I will share the slides afterwards for further review. Chat was disabled, but wanted to thank you. Oh, you're welcome. So I think is there one more? What was the date in August? Oh, excellent, Kate. Thank you for asking. Let's go back. I got to keep moving some of the things around here. Go back to the grant programs. Current program year. Request for county council. Is by Wednesday, August 31st this year. And in order to receive a resolution of support prior to the application due date, the resolutions must be on the county council's agenda for September 13th. The agenda goes out the week before. You need it 2 weeks before. And then again, it's a fillable PDF. Your estimated project, I would especially in this day and age with inflation and issues, definitely go on the high side. I know your budget might get changed. The county council is in support of the project happening in that geographic location, right? If you have to increase the cost, you know, I wouldn't want you to have to come back with that. I would just give a good, nice, high round figure that would cover what you think will cover it. So that's what I would do for that. Because again, if we keep going back to the council with changes of money, then that. The other thing about the county resolutions of support, when I get in touch with you about that, and I think that's in here, a resolution of support will be read into the record and then assigned to a council committee for further consideration and recommendation back to the full council. A representative who is able to answer questions about the application must be present at any committee meeting as determined. So it's usually, if it's September 13th, it's being read into the record. It will be the following week, typically on a Wednesday, but I will be in touch with you. And again, just make sure that there's somebody available from your organization that can speak to that. And trying to think. Oh, and then the last thing was the green print. So county planning, I think green print, and we, you know what, I should double check. And if it's not on here, we'll add it onto the list. Is it? Oh, I got to go to current year. See, even I have trouble navigating in this. Yes, we will add the green print into this list of NRAC materials. In the meantime, I will go back to county planning, projects, environmental, Cuyahoga County green print. So when you come here, there's the green print viewer. And again, there are layers with areas that you can turn on and turn off. So political, you certainly are going to want your municipalities or even the Cleveland neighborhoods. And you can zoom in. You can even zoom in at the parcel level. Yeah, of course, I pick a big parcel that's not there. Green print features. Cuyahoga Greenways, is it near a regional network? Here are watersheds, impervious surface, wetlands. You can, again, you see, there it is. It shows up. There's a little water feature there. So Rocky River watershed, Lake Erie tributaries. So that must be Cuyahoga. So yeah, there's all kinds of things you can turn on and off. So, and then there's tools you can draw around it, and then you can also, I want to save as, print. So, and again, there's videos, topography if you're showing steep slopes, and all kinds of information on there as well. So, and that's it. All right. Anything else? Well, thank you all for your time this afternoon. This was pretty fast. I think it's a lot of familiar material to you all. Both Nick and I are available to help along the way. answer questions, help you navigate WorksWise. And I'm going to stay on for a couple minutes after if you just want to chat. If you have an idea about a project but aren't sure if it fits in with the program available to meet, or even do a site visit before the site visits to check it out. So I am going to stop recording.